Hi, and welcome to the Heritage Lock YouTube channel. And thank you for purchasing an Oracode locking system from A to Z Lock and Safe and Resorts Locksmith Services. In this mini-series, I'm going to introduce you to the Oracode locking system and teach you how to use the lock efficiently. This first video is going to review how to log into your Kaba Oracode wireless account, set up your account details, and generate your first code. Whether you're using a desktop or a mobile device, we'll walk through every step. So the first step here is logging in. You're going to navigate to kabaoracodewireless.com, which I've already done here in my internet browser. I'm using Chrome for this demo, but you can use Safari or Edge or any modern browser that you want. The site works on computers, tablets, smartphones, very similarly. You enter your username and password in this field. Their username and password should be in the welcome email that you received from us. And then you click login. The first time that you log in, we always recommend navigating to my account and setting up a few account details. These account details, you want to confirm that we got your name correct, your email correct, and your phone number. And then the other step you always want to set up first time is your recovery password, email, and question. This is used in case you are not able to access your account, you've forgotten your password, and you need to reset it. Dormicaba security requirements do require that you set a different email than your account email. So you'll need to have a backup email address down here. And then you'll also need to use one of the security questions from this list and answer that. Once you have confirmed all of those details, you'll click OK. And then you're going to go back into my account to actually change your password. We always recommend changing your password because we use a generic password when we set up your account for the first time. So you're going to click on change password, you're going to enter the current password, and then enter a new password and re-enter it below. The one thing to note about the password, this is kind of an idiosyncrasy with the Oracode Live system, you can use letters and numbers, uppercase or lowercase, but you cannot use any symbols. You cannot use exclamation, at, asterisk, ampersand, any of those symbols along the top row of your keyboard. You cannot use. Unfortunately, the system will not give you an error. It just won't save your password properly. So the next time you go to log in, your password's not going to be saved and you'll have to go through the recovery procedure. If you have not set up your recovery procedure, email us from your account email is associated with billing, and our customer service team will be happy to help you. So once you've changed your password and gone through the password recovery options, you're ready to generate your first code. All right, generating your first code back from the home screen, you're going to go to the codes tab here along the top bar, or you can also click here to code management. Either one will get you to the same place. And then on the code screen, you're going to go to generate access code. If this is your first door, you're only going to have one door name here that you select, but you do have to select that door name. And then you have to select the user level. So I want to talk for a minute about the different user levels. There are several different user levels that are pre-programmed into the database that your lock is part of. These cannot be changed, but you have a lot of options here, and you'll be able to find a code type, a user level type that meets your needs. So the first set of codes are guest daily codes. These start with guest and they have a check-in and checkout time. These first 5 codes, in this case, some user databases have 7 or 8 guest daily codes. This one has 5. These are codes that are for short-term stays up to 31 days, and they start working at the check-in time, they stop working at the checkout time. And these are probably the most common codes that you'll use for a vacation rental. The next code type is a guest long-term code. It's a designated guest long-term BW. We'll talk about BW in a minute, but that is for a long-term stay, maybe a snowbird, or you have somebody living in the unit for more than a month, and you want to give them a long-term code. Still starts working at a check-in time, stops working at a checkout time, but these are longer term codes. So I said we would talk about the D and the BW. This is pretty important to understand. This stands for daily and biweekly. The daily codes are good. They can start any day. They can start and stop any day of the week, up to 31 days. So in this case, if I select June 25th as the check-in day, I can select any day of the week up to July 26th, and then I'm not able to select a code, or I'm not able to select a checkout date after that because it's good up to 31 days. On the other hand, a BW code, or a biweekly code, is good up to 62 weeks. But the caveat is you have to select a check-in date of a Monday. So if you had somebody who was checking in on June 25th, you would have to select the actual code start date to be the Monday, the most recent Monday available prior to the 25th. So in this case, it would be June 16th. But this code would then be good. I could select any date as a checkout date up to 62 weeks later. So I could go out to July 12th of 2026. So these are different uses and different restrictions. The next code type that I'll talk about is this one-shot code. Every database has a one-shot code, and it's good for you pick a certain day that it's good for. This would be useful if you had perhaps a realtor who was going to show the unit, or some other person who needed to access your house just one time. And after that code was used one time, it can never be used again. If they needed to get back in again, you would have to generate a new code for them. The next set of codes are the owner codes listed here. Most databases have 3 owner codes, and those owner codes are always long-term or biweekly codes. Those are for you, the homeowner, to keep track of managing the property over a long period of time. Again, those can be up to 62 weeks in length. And then below that, you have a series of different codes that are labeled for housekeeping or others. You have emergency codes, housekeeping, inspectors, condo association, and the titles of these codes are really to help you keep track of who you gave these codes to. Most of these codes have options for a 24-hour period where the code is good any time of the day, or an option where it's only good during daylight hours, some of them 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., just giving you a lot of different options so you can restrict access to the unit as your needs see fit. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the tracking the holder name. This is completely optional, but a lot of people do like to use this so they can keep track of who they gave a code to. So if you have a housekeeping code and your housekeeper's name is Jane Doe, you would click on the setting wheel here next to holder's name. When you're adding Jane Doe for the first time, you add that user, and then that user will appear in the list here so that you can select, and this is just to help you keep your record straight as to who you gave the code to. So in this case, we're going to say this housekeeping code is for Jane Doe. We've already checked our start and stop dates for this code, and the last step is to then generate. Now this next screen is the access code screen, and this is pretty important that you don't close this quickly. Once you navigate away from this screen, you will not be able to see this full access code again. You would have to generate a new code, which is always possible, but there's not a way to recover this code once you leave this screen. So the top section of this screen gives you the key information, the code, the door name, which door you generated this code for, what time of day it's valid, and what dates it's valid. It also records the code holder name since we selected that on the previous screen. There is an option here. It's optional. You don't have to do it, but you are able to have the system email or text message this code. You can send it to yourself. You could send it to Jane Doe in this case. Whichever you want to do, you would fill out the email information. You could give them a short message for cleaning the apartment today. Fill out their email and then click send email. You can do the same thing for the SMS. You fill out their phone number, give them a short message, and send a text, and it will send the text to them. The other neat feature here that I do recommend using is the code expiration reminder, and this is particularly helpful for long-term codes. So if you have a long-term housekeeper or property manager or even your owner code, you want to set up a reminder. I always recommend a week before it actually expires. You put in your email address or your phone number or both, and it sends a pre-populated message here that just reminds you that your code is about to expire and you need to go in and generate a new one. And then you make sure you hit submit for that. And with that, you've successfully generated your first code and made a record or a reminder of what that code is.